Hello, audio professionals, and welcome back to Behind the Fader. In this video, I want to share a recent project where I helped a small local Texas church to improve and transform their audio mix. The congregation is a small or medium-sized church. They typically hosting between 150 and 200 people in a sanctuary with a 350 seat capacity, I would say. And they initially reached out to me with a request to mix their services for 3 or 4 Sundays. However, after consulting with the fellowship leader, I realized that providing this temporary fix is not the best long-term solution for them. And like many churches, they heavily rely on volunteers, which I think not a great idea across many churches. So I believe that if there is the person who is doing significant amount of labor in a church, he needs to be paid. And actually Bible says about that in 1 Timothy 5:18. So it actually says the labor is worthy of his wages, right? So what does it mean? It means that if you have the audio guy, audio engineer, audio volunteer in your church, and by the way, this is the one of the most important persons in your fellowship team, because you can have a great band on a stage and they can be really professional, but if your audio guy, if your audio engineer is not working hard, then you have a problem. So basically, it means that your audio engineer doing a lot of work, a lot of labor, and he definitely needs to be paid. And I see many churches who are trying to avoid paying the audio video team, and they have really bad production, and they like wondering why we have bad production. So that's because you are not following the Bible. It says the labor is worthy of his wages, right? So if you see people who are contributing in a church, who are doing a lot of labor voluntarily, even the church should start to pay them. Now, there is nothing bad here to have volunteers in a church in AV team. Only if there is no expectations from audio and video production at all. So if whole entire church agrees that they will not have the great production, great sound in a sanctuary during the fellowship, if everybody is okay with that, and let's say they have really limited budget, and they like, okay, we can sacrifice with our audio video production because we don't have a budget, and we all agree that there is no expectation at all, then that's probably fine to have volunteers. But honestly, I believe that even in this situation, it's kind of backwards. I believe that the church members should show their faith by starting to pay people who are doing a lot of labor in a church, and God will bless them. So it's kind of backwards how usually people and ministers think about it. But regardless, I proposed a different approach for them. So instead of just mixing services by myself, I would train their current audio volunteer to ensure sustainable mix in the future. So basically, I decided to contribute to the church so to educate their audio volunteer so he can handle mixing better in the future. Now, the environment presented several unique challenges. They operate with very limited resources, requiring a single volunteer to manage the front of house, the live stream, and the monitor mixes at the same time on one console. So this is quite challenging situation, even for experienced audio engineer. When I first arrived, the board's routing and layout were quite disorganized and messy. So I helped them to restructure the input organization and created more intuitive layout, which I will share with you later in this video. To further support the team, I provided comprehensive documentation and guidelines using custom app I developed to keep technical records centralized and accessible for the volunteers. In a moment, we will look at before and after comparison of the live stream. It is important to note that the live stream audio is a post-fader feed from the main bus with specific adjustments for the broadcast. So please focus specifically on audio. I was not involved in the video production or streaming quality. So let's dive in and listen to the original mix, followed by the improvements we achieved. And I will iterate between original mix and improved mix so you can hear difference better. And then I will walk you through the specific technical adjustments we made to help them to reach this new standard.
What can wash away my sin? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. What can make me whole again? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. What can wash away my sin? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. What can make me whole again? Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. No other bounds I know. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. No other bounds I know. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. For my pardon, this I see. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. For my cleansing, this my plea. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. For my pardon, this my sin. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. For my cleansing, this my plea. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. No other bounds I know. Nothing but the blood of Jesus. Oh, precious is the flow that makes me white as snow. No other bounds I know. Nothing but the blood of Jesus.
Okay, audio people, before we will dive into the board itself, I want to emphasize and highlight 3 or maybe 4 items that I think contributed the most into this improved mix. I would say, first of all, it is the mono versus stereo. So the original feed for the live stream was mono, and having this amount of instruments and vocal mics, it's kind of making this mono sound boring, and stereo can provide a lot of complements to this live mix. So my first change was to change this live stream bus from mono to stereo. It's actually required some reconfiguring in the board itself, because this board is a little bit tricky. You cannot just on the fly change the amount of buses and amount of groups and so on. So you need to pre-configure that, and it will dramatically change your configuration of the board. So the item 2 probably will be the room mics. Now you probably cannot hear them much, but they are there and they color in the sound a lot. Now there's some limitations in this room how we can set up the room mics. So the only option was to set up these room mics and point them down the stairs, because they already had mounting clips there and they didn't want to make these room mics really noticeable for people. So the room mics are pointed downstairs, but majority of people who are singing are upstairs. But even in this configuration, it worked really good. So yeah, these room mics, they did huge difference.
Let your breath come from heaven. Fill our hearts with your life. We are here for you. We are here for you.
You cannot, maybe you cannot really notice them, but they are there and they are coloring the mix a lot. Item number 3, I would say FXs. So they didn't have any delays and reverberation in the stream at all. So they were present on the console itself, but they were not routed correctly. So again, the FXs allowed to color the mix a lot. And item 4, I would say it's equalization and compression. Unfortunately, yeah, the equalization was not great on each and every channel, almost on each and every channel except of drums, I would say. But the drummer is kind of running his own sound, I would say. So he was able to do some kind of adjustments, I believe, on his side from the drum booth using the iPad. So anyway, so these 4 items actually, I believe, improved the mix a lot. Now let's take a look to the layout itself, right? So what you see right now on the screen is what they originally had. So this is the layout that I saw when I just arrived to this church. And you can see that we have 4 banks, 4 layers on the left side and 4 layers in the right side in banks 1 and 2 respectively. And it looks like they started to build this really traditional layout. So they started from drums on bank A, and then they had some instruments here. Then again, on the left side, they had mix of channels like a bass, click, beat tracks. These are all the mics, I believe. Yeah, like wired and wireless mics. And then on layer C, they have the choir mics, again, some wireless. And then this blue, again, these are mics for preacher, for announcements, and so on. Also, there are some line-ins like iPhone, HDMI, and so on. And on layer D, again, it's just inputs, talkback, this kind of stuff. So basically, during the mixing the songs, the audio engineer needs to switch between layer A and layer B on the left side on bank 1 all the time, basically, because microphones on layer B, drums on layer E, instruments on layer A, not layer E, I'm sorry, on layer A. And also there is no good color coding, I would say. Everything kind of messy here. And on the right side, they have, on output section, they have, these are DCAs, so they have DCAs for all vocals, drums, band. I'm not sure how this is working. It's probably not all instruments, but some group of instruments. And this mute is just a mute button, I would say. I believe it's assigned to one of these. Oh, yeah, they didn't use Softcase a lot, unfortunately, and they didn't use these custom assignable buttons as well. And these are amazing options in this board. They must be used, I would say. Then on layers B and C, layer B on the bank 2 on the right side, completely occupied by monitor mixes. Layer C also has some monitor feeds and FXs, sends and returns. Again, they're here, but they didn't route it correctly. Layer D is empty. Now, the problem with this, because it's the same person mixing the front of house and the monitor mixes, the problem here that in order to switch to monitor mix, he needs to select layer B, then figure out the correct label for the bus, select this bus, click this mix button. If you want to listen to this mix, he also needs to click this PA file button. Then he has to select layer here, like input on left side with inputs and adjust the mix, right? It's kind of, it's a big deal. I mean, it's too many buttons. And I will show you how I help them to simplify this workflow a lot. So yeah, I will not dive into the original equalization and compression and any processing that they originally had, but honestly, it wasn't really perfect. They didn't utilize a lot of features. I would say the gate wasn't set up perfect. EQ was kind of weird. Compression was kind of okay, but not really doing a lot, I would say. And they didn't use any FXs, any like additional this rec processing, except of 2 reverberations, one for vocal, one for drums, and 1 delay. I believe it's more like a long delay probably. Yeah, so this is their initial layout, and now I want to load the layout that I proposed. And this is not the final version, but it's really close. It's really close to the final one. So let's recall this one. And the main change that I did here is the following. So first of all, selecting layer A on left and right sides on bank 1 and bank 2 on the left and right sides now allows to the audio engineer to completely mix all the songs without having switching between different layers. And the way how it works basically, so all these green channels are microphones, all the red channels are instruments, and you can see that I was kind of forced to occupy one channel on the right side, and this is just for acoustic guitar. And if I will switch between different banks on the right side, it always stays the same. Now again, the only reason for having that is to allocate all the needed channels for mixing in one layer. Now again, all of these microphones, some of them wireless, some of them wired. Instruments, piano, keys, electric guitar 1 and 2, acoustic guitar. And here we have the DCAs. This DCA is for drum and bass, so all drums and bass could be adjusted with this one fader. Now all the drums located on layer B on left side. And basically the idea here, again, all of them are microphones, they're green, you see that? And the idea here that at the very beginning, the audio engineer can adjust the volume of the drums and balance the drums with the bass on layer B. And after that, until the end of the day, he can just use this DCA fader. Then we have the fader for all the instruments. Again, this is DCA. Now Vox is the fader, but this is the group now. Now it is not just the DCA. Now the vocals are not going directly to the main bus anymore. They are going to this Vox bus, and then they have some processing like generic equalization, and they also have yeah, this compressor is not set, but they also have the dynamic processor, this one multi-band compressor basically. So that's why this Vox group is needed. So another DCA is for choir, so they have 3 choir microphones. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to figure out why they are not coming through the stream. I think this board at some point was kind of damaged or something like that, because there's something going on inside of this board, and whatever I did, I wasn't able to route these chorus mics to the stream. That is so weird, but I think maybe I missed something, but it's more likely that there is just a bug in this board in the software, because we experienced similar stuff with reverberation and delay sense, and until we didn't reassign them to the specific buses, they just didn't work. They were assigned, everything was assigned correctly, but I was forced to unassign them and assign back, and only after that they started to work. So that's kind of weird. But anyway, so this is choir DCA is for 3 choir mics, and then they have these 3 mics for the announcements and preacher, and then another mics. These are wireless for some announcements again. Sometimes they have kids talking on a stage, and sometimes they have the baptism is going on, and all of this again just on layer C, and they are used. And layer D is just system layer. So there is talkback. Again, these are sends, FX sends, and FX returns. Now, on a bank B, on a layer B, I'm sorry, on the right side, there's still the monitor buses, but I regrouped them. I grouped them in two different. I put them in two different groups. So layer B now has all in ears, and layer C has all wedges. The beauty here is that I used these soft buttons for selecting the monitor mixes, basically all the buses. So soft 1 is assigned to the main. You see it's left and right. Then soft 2 is assigned to piano in-ear monitors. Soft 3 is assigned to bass in-ear monitors. Soft 4 is assigned to the lead, who is Jordan, monitors, and so on and so on and so on. I also put the labels on the physical board with all that are matching these labels on channels itself. So it's basically made the job of switching between the mixes very, very, very easy. And you also can notice that wherever I select the bus, the output bus using the soft key, it's automatically selecting this bus. It is pressing this mix button, and it's doing this PAFL, which is just sending the audio to the headphones, right? So basically, it's just one button, and you have the control of what you are sending to this mix. You also can control this mix because it will send to the headphones. And also, it is selecting, so any processing that required for this channel also could be done from here. So on soft 9, I believe I put the stream mix. Yeah, so it is very easy to switch between between mains left and right on soft 1 key, and the live stream on soft 9 key. And soft 10 is dedicated and assigned to the tab delay. So they didn't have this at all. Now, custom 1 and custom 2. Custom 1 is the vocal reverberation send, and custom 2 is delay reverberation send. Again, they didn't have it. Also, you can see I did some panoramic here, which complemented a mix a lot. Yeah, so this is the layout that I built for them. And again, now the audio volunteer, he can just use one layer on the board to mix the songs. Now he probably will need to switch to layer C during the sermon itself or during the gaps between the songs, but he will not be forced to switch between the layers while mixing the songs, which is the most important part. Yeah, so this is by the way, on right side on layer A, I also put the room mic fader here and sends to the long reverberation and long delay. Again, everything is right here, everything in touch of your fingers, so that's pretty cool. Well, if I will dive deeper right now into all adjustments that I did for this church, it will be like video 2 hours long. I probably will just cover this one. I also created the custom layer for matters for them. So basically, wherever they mix, they just select matters, custom, and layer A on banks 1 and 2. And on matters, it's important to see, for me at least, I think it is important to see sends and returns from FX buses and matters for left and right, for mains and for the stream. Yeah, and on a stream, there is some, oh yeah, I probably already showed you, right? So on the stream, we have this multi-band compressor. And you can see that I added some processing for them. So I added some dynamic EQs. I added the multi-band compressor on live stream. We also improved the bass sound by using this hyper bass module processor. and it sounded amazing. So one of the complaints that they had that the bass is not good enough, and he's running direct, so this processor did it really rich, and it basically was able to I would say you can see it from the name. It says Lost Fundamental. That's exactly what this for. So it's made this bass much richer. Yeah, and I did some adjustments for delays and reverberations. I adjusted filters because filters were set to 20 kilohertz or something like that. The delays, the decays were set not really in the right way, I would say. And again, filters on the reverberation also were set not really correctly. So yeah, these many little things help them to sound much better. Now, I want to share something else with you here. So basically, the way how they now should operate, so they have this initial scene, and they have this executable scene. Now, the idea here that they never save anything to this initial scene. They only save the executable scene. And initial scene has all these precise fundamental adjustments that are needed. But this executable scene, there is a great feature in this console that's called recall filter. And when they load this executable scene, and well, when they save it, all they save and all they load are preamps, so gains, probably the gates as well, and sends to monitors, and that's it. So the idea that they probably should not be able to destroy this fundamental mix. But on Wednesdays they have rehearsals, and on rehearsals they will adjust the monitors feeds and the gains, and on Sundays they will reuse it. But because they load the initial scene first and then they load all these adjustments that they did, they theoretically should have really good fundamental coming from initial scene, and then they should have all the adjustments that they did for in-ear monitors gain and gain structure that are coming from this executable scene. Yeah, so this is the idea. We'll see how it goes. I'm really excited that I was able to help them, and I was really excited that the audio volunteer, he was able to cooperate and collaborate with me, and he also was really happy about this new layout. So I hope it will help them to make the sound in church much better. And I'm looking forward, honestly, to this Sunday, because this will be the first Sunday when they will mix without me. So I wanna listen to the stream, to the YouTube stream, and I want to see and I want to listen how it goes now. Hopefully it will be great. Well, yeah. Well, that's it for this video, I believe. So thank you for watching this video. I hope it was useful. I hope that you guys can take something good from this video. Again, it was an amazing opportunity for me to contribute to this church, and I would say it's a dream job for me. This is just cool. When my son asked me, "Hey Dad, where are you going? Where are you going this Sunday?" I said, "I'm going to the church, and they're gonna pay me to help them with the sound." He told me, "This is the best job in the world," and I agreed, guys. So anyway, thank you for watching this video. I hope it's helpful for you. If you have any questions, leave the comments, and I will be happy to answer. Thank you. Bye. And see you behind the fader next time.